Good morning, this is Giovanni Gallucci, joined by Rachel Donovan, and this is the Social Trend Report.
Morning, Gio. Came in with the windows down and half a tank, which is about right for a Tuesday.
Good week for numbers. Today, 23,000 shoppers just told us what social is actually for. TikTok put a hard percentage on posting about too many things, and the private send quietly became the most valuable thing that can happen to a post.
So Kendall ran the numbers on this one, and it's the biggest sample I've seen all year. 23,000 shoppers across 18 markets. 62% say social influences what they buy. 6% actually want to buy there.
62 and 6. Sit in that gap for a second because that's a 10-to-1 spread.
There's more. 3/4 of Gen Z say they discover products on social. And only about a quarter of US shoppers say they trust a social checkout.
Which means every operator grading organic social on last click revenue has been grading the wrong exam for about 4 years.
Push on that, because plenty of people listening have a spreadsheet that says social converts badly.
The spreadsheet's right, the conclusion's wrong. Social converts badly because converting was never its job. The feed plants the name. The buying happens somewhere else, 2 or 3 days later, usually after somebody types your brand into a search box. Then the analytics tool credits the search, and the post that caused the search gets a 0 next to it.
So the channel that did the work never gets the credit.
Never once. And then somebody in a meeting reads that report and cuts the organic budget. That's like blaming the friend who introduced you because the wedding happened somewhere else.
Okay, so if the feed isn't the register, what's it?
It's the handoff. And almost everybody fumbles the handoff because the video is gorgeous and the place it sends people looks like it was built by a different company in a different decade. Somebody watches a warm, specific, handheld 30 seconds, taps through, and lands on a gray page with a stock photo and the word solutions on it. That whiplash is where the money dies.
So what does a clean handoff actually look like?
Same frame, literally the same frame. Take the single image from your best performing post this quarter and make it the first thing on the page you send people to. Same light, same hands, same background. The stranger should feel like they walked through a door, not like they got redirected to a different building. And that continuity moves the only thing that matters in that moment, which is whether they believe they're still in the right place. You've got about 2 seconds of doubt to survive. Visual continuity survives it, a clever headline doesn't. And this is the cheapest fix in all of organic social because you already own the photo. You made it, it already worked, it's sitting in your camera roll. Most people just never thought to use the thing twice.
What about the measurement side? Because somebody's still going to ask for a number.
Then change the number you hand them. Stop reporting last click. Report branded search volume and direct traffic in the 72 hours after you post. That's the fingerprint. When the feed is working, people don't click your link, they go look you up on purpose. That's a better buyer than any link tap you'll ever get.
And what's the trap here?
Chasing the 6%. Bolting a storefront onto every platform because you read that social commerce is the future. 3/4 of your audience is telling you they won't check out there. Build for the 75, not the 6.
All right, 3 things you can do with that this week.
1. Pull your best post from the last 90 days and rebuild its exact opening frame as the top of the page you send people to. Same photo if you can get away with it. 2. Pick the phrase you want people to type into a search bar after they see you and say it out loud the same way in every single video. You're not writing a caption, you're planting a search term. 3. Change your own weekly report. Branded search and direct traffic for the 3 days after a post, sitting right next to the post. Look at those 2 columns together for a month, and you'll never argue about organic again.
Second one, and Clark finally put a number on something people have argued about for years. TikTok accounts publishing across more than 3 unrelated topics see roughly a 45% average reach drop against single niche accounts.
45%. That's not a nudge. That's the platform telling you it can't file you.
And there's a second half. Distribution is still follower first. Your existing followers are the test panel that decides whether anything goes wider.
Those 2 facts sitting next to each other are the entire strategy, and almost nobody runs it.
Unpack it for the operator who posts about 5 things because 5 things are genuinely true about their business.
I understand the impulse. You've got the product, the founder story, the shop dog, the trade show booth, the playlist. All real, all yours. But the machine isn't reading your heart, it's building a file on you. Every unrelated topic makes that file blurrier. A blurry file means it doesn't know who to show you to, so it shows you to almost nobody.
So how many lanes do I actually get?
The data says 3. I'd run 2. Pick the lanes where your buyer already lives and put everything else on your personal account where it belongs.
That's going to feel like amputation to some people.
It feels like that for about 3 weeks. Then your reach comes back and it stops feeling like anything at all. Look, nobody followed you for the full range of your interests. They followed you for one thing you do that they happen to care about. Posting the other 4 is you being interesting to yourself on a channel you built for them.
That's a harder line than most people want to hear.
It's the honest one. And I'd rather tell an operator the truth in July than watch them spend the back half of the year wondering why a feed full of perfectly decent posts isn't reaching anybody.
What about the follower first part? That one surprised me.
It shouldn't, but it changes how you read your own numbers. Your existing followers are the jury. The platform shows a new post to the people who already know you, watches what they do, and only then decides whether strangers get to see it. So a post that dies never got rejected by the wide world. It got rejected at home.
Which means a bad post is telling you something different than people think.
Completely different. Everybody blames reach. Reach is the symptom. The message is that the people who chose you looked at that one and kept scrolling. That's much more useful and much less comfortable.
So how do I grow if I'm only allowed 2 lanes? Doesn't that cap me?
Backward. You grow by going deeper, not sideways. One lane has 50 subtopics in it, and you've probably covered 4. The brand that owns one subject completely beats the brand that's mildly present in 5, every time, on every platform, and now we've finally got a percentage on it. Depth is also what makes you the obvious answer when somebody asks their group chat who to follow for this. Nobody gets recommended for being broadly fine at several things.
Give me the trap.
Reading 45% and deciding to start a second account for the other stuff. Now you've got 2 starving accounts instead of 1 healthy one. Cut the topics, don't relocate them.
3 moves before we go on.
1. List your last 30 posts and sort them into topic buckets. Whatever's outside your top 3 buckets, stop posting it. Today, not next quarter. 2. Take your strongest lane and write out 20 subtopics inside it. That's your next 5 months, and you never have to leave the lane to fill a calendar. 3. Read the first hour of every post as a verdict from your own followers, not from the algorithm. When one lands flat, ask what your regulars didn't want, and write that down somewhere you'll actually see it.
Last one. Travis flagged the Instagram teardown, and I think it reorders how you build a post. Shares per view now outrank likes and comments across Reels and Explore. And the private share, the DM send, carries the most weight of anything.
So the platform stopped counting applause and started counting errands.
Errands?
A like costs you nothing. A comment costs you a little. Sending something to one specific person costs you real capital, because now you're on the hook for whether they think it was worth their time. Instagram worked out that's the one signal people don't fake.
There's a companion piece to it. Reposted content is getting actively demoted in favor of the original account.
Which is the best news a small operator has gotten in a year, and I don't think people have registered it yet. For a decade, the aggregators won. Big accounts that made nothing, scraped everything, posted it faster than you. That arbitrage is closing.
So the person who actually made the thing gets the distribution.
Finally, if you shot it, wrote it, cooked it, or built it, you're now the preferred party, and the reposter is the one eating the penalty. That's a straight transfer of power to whoever's actually doing the work. And it quietly kills the excuse a lot of small operators have been living on, which is that they can't compete with accounts that post 12 times a day. Those accounts post 12 times a day because they're not making anything. You make one real thing a week. This week that started counting for more than their 12.
Back to the private send. How do I make something people actually forward?
You change the question you ask before you post. Right now, most people ask, will people like this? Wrong question. Ask, who sends this to whom and why? Name the pair out loud. If you can't picture one specific person forwarding it to one other specific person, and you can't say what they'd type above it, it isn't finished.
Give me an example of what passes that test.
Usefulness somebody else needs. A warning. An inside joke only your category gets. Something so specific it feels like it was made for one person, which is exactly why it gets sent to that person. What never gets forwarded is the polished general audience thing that's technically about everyone and personally about nobody. Think about your own DMs. Nothing you sent this week was a brand's best produced video. It was a screenshot, a two-line warning, something oddly specific that made you think of somebody for half a second. And that runs straight against how most brands write. Most brands write to a room. Nobody forwards a room.
Does asking for the share work? Or is that begging?
Asking works when it's specific and dies when it's generic. Share if you agree is noise. Send this to whoever in your shop keeps buying the cheap one is a real instruction with a real person attached, and people do it.
And the trap on this one?
Manufacturing outrage because angry things get sent. It works twice and then you're the account people mute. Forwarded because it's useful compounds. Forwarded because it's inflammatory burns the list down.
3 to close it out.
1. Before anything goes live, name the sender and the receiver out loud. Real people you know. If you can't, don't post it, rewrite it. 2. Go through your grid and cut everything you didn't make. Reposts are now costing you distribution instead of filling a gap, so that gap is better left empty. 3. Stop watching likes this month. Watch shares per view, and specifically the sends. Find your top 3 by that number and figure out what they've in common, because that's the format you should be running. That's the show. If you're an operator staring at a feed that looks busy and a report that looks flat, that's the work I do at gallucci.net. Organic social strategy for the small brand that has to outthink the big one, because it's never going to outspend it. Bring me your account. Find me at gallucci.net or DM at gallucci.net on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Talk next week.